You're listening to the last signal radio. If this is reaching you, it means something is still functioning, and that is something. I don't have a name. It doesn't matter. You don't need to know who I am. What matters is that you stay listening, stay calm, and survive. Right now, everything you thought was normal is slipping away, and if you're hearing my voice, you're witnessing the very beginning of a world that no longer belongs to us. The first reports came in quietly, almost like whispers, as though nobody wanted to believe what they were seeing. People described lights in the sky, strange formations, moving in ways no airplane or satellite could. A few called it a meteor shower. Some said experimental military craft. Then the power flickered. Phones went dead. Satellite feeds scrambled. Internet went dark. And now, from what I can piece together, what is out there is not human. I've been listening to messages from people in neighboring cities. Some are panicking, others are frozen in disbelief. People describe hovering ships, massive, metallic black, glinting under the sun, moving in precise formations. Not random, not chaotic, intentional. I don't know what their purpose is, but I do know this. They are observing us, scanning, testing, waiting. If you are in a city, or anywhere with population, I need you to listen carefully. Do not go outside unless absolutely necessary. Barricade doors and windows if you can. Low light, low noise. They notice movement. Anything that draws attention, anything that stands out, they see it. Don't assume normal rules apply anymore. Survival is patience and invisibility. I'm hearing fragmented reports from emergency channels that are still operational. Cars abandoned on highways. Sirens still wailing in some neighborhoods. People calling loved ones. But phones dropping mid-conversation. Some call for help, some for explanations. Nobody has answers. I cannot give answers. All I can do is relay what I see, what I hear, and what I can confirm with some certainty. I have received descriptions of the first encounters. A man in a suburb claims to have seen a ship lower itself silently into the park near his home. He describes a light, not blinding, but penetrating, as if it's reading everything around it. Then, according to him, the ship lifted and disappeared before he could react. I cannot verify this, but if even a fraction of these accounts are true, they are capable of moving without warning, without sound, and they are testing our world. If you have weapons, keep them close, but do not assume they are effective. I cannot confirm whether any human-built tool will work against whatever is out there. Don't confront them. Don't try to interact. Don't try to take footage. If you are seen, it may be your last action. Survival is quiet, calm, measured. Water, food, medical supplies, gather them quietly, in small quantities, in ways that do not draw attention. If you must move, plan the shortest route possible, use cover, and move in low visibility areas. Shadows are your friend. If you are in a tall building, stay away from windows. Stay away from open areas. They can see far, and they are precise. They are not here by accident. I can hear them too, or at least, I can feel their presence. The lights outside my studio, distant but unnerving, their patterns almost intelligent. The world is shifting beneath our feet, and the rules we once depended on are no longer reliable. It's hard to maintain calm when you know what's out there, but panic is the enemy. Panic kills. Silence and observation save. I've had messages trickling in from listeners. One describes her neighborhood as eerily empty, vehicles left in streets, televisions left on, lights flickering, as if everyone vanished simultaneously. Another caller said she saw shadows that moved against physics, crossing buildings without climbing, slipping through alleys faster than any human could. Some claim these things were scanning, some harvesting. I don't know which is true. I only know that caution is our ally. Communication is fragile. If you have a safe way to contact neighbors, coordinate quietly. Share information, not panic. Share resources, not attention. This broadcast, this frequency, may be the only stable connection left. Use it to maintain awareness. Use it to survive. Do not assume anyone else has clarity. Most don't. They are reacting with fear, disbelief, denial. That will not save you. Only preparation will. I need you to understand this. Right now, the world is not ending all at once. It is changing in a sequence that we are just beginning to perceive. These ships are not attacking en masse yet. They are surveying, analyzing, probing, and every observation is precise. Every move counts. The streets you thought you knew are no longer predictable. Every light, every sound, every motion may be noticed. I keep repeating the same advice because it cannot be said enough. Low light, low noise, stay in shadows. Do not investigate strange lights. Do not confront these beings. Survival is patience, observation, and avoidance. Stay in place unless moving is necessary. If you must move, plan it meticulously. Timing and cover are everything. Even in this, there is a thread of human persistence. I am still broadcasting. You are still listening. Some of you are still moving quietly, planning survival. Some of you are documenting what you see in safe ways, hidden ways. That is the lifeline we have. The world beyond may feel chaotic, unstructured, incomprehensible. But what we can control, the actions, the decisions, the precautions, is what matters. I want to end this transmission, not because I have nothing to say, but because we must each take a moment to assess our surroundings, prepare, and survive. This is only the beginning, the first contact, the first night. But if you are hearing this, you are alive. And being alive is the first victory. The lights in the sky are no longer distant. They are here, hovering over cities, over towns, over places where families sleep, where people think they are safe. They are not safe. The reports I'm receiving are consistent, horrifying in their clarity. Ships large enough to blot out streets, smooth and black, moving silently through the air, stopping, scanning, hovering. Sometimes they vanish and reappear without warning, as though physics itself bends for them. If you are in a populated area, barricade. Reinforce doors and windows. Stay low, stay silent. I cannot stress this enough. Noise is dangerous. Movement is dangerous. Observation is your shield. Do not confront, do not investigate, do not film. Any sudden attention could be fatal. People are calling in, desperate, terrified. They describe entire streets empty, cars abandoned, traffic signals blinking in irregular patterns. Sirens echo in the distance. Some are screaming, some are crying quietly. Children are hiding, parents trying to calm them. I hear snippets of emergency services attempting to respond, but they are overwhelmed. Communications fail one after another. The systems we depended on to protect us have collapsed. If you are relying on anyone else, stop. Rely on yourself, your instincts, your observation, and your planning. I have received more messages about these ships. They appear to move deliberately, almost as if surveying the world, scanning structures, reading movements. People report beams of light, sometimes a low hum, sometimes a pressure in the air, enough to unsettle you, to make your skin crawl. Some believe these ships are studying us. Some believe they are harvesting. I cannot confirm either. All I can tell you is that your safety depends on avoiding them entirely. If you have a safe route, a secure location, use it now. Essentials only. Water, food, medical supplies, and anything to protect yourself quietly. Travel lightly, but plan meticulously. Shadows and darkness are your allies. Avoid light at all costs. If you have blinds, curtains, or fabric to cover windows, do it. If you have doors, lock them and reinforce them. Silence is survival. I am observing from my own position, trying to maintain calm, trying to maintain clarity. The sky is alive with movement, too many to count, too many to understand. Patterns emerge and shift unpredictably. They are precise, efficient, and aware. If you see one move slowly, do not be tempted to approach. They are not benevolent. They are not curious in the way humans are curious. They are deliberate. Every observation matters to them. Every mistake matters to you. I have received reports from people who claim to have seen direct interaction. A man in the suburbs described a ship lowering a probe, a device that hovered over his home, scanning, then withdrawing. No noise, no contact. Another caller described shadows moving along walls, figures bending around corners in ways no human could. Some describe windows melting, or surfaces warping. I cannot verify these things, but if even one is true, they demonstrate technology and capability beyond anything we can comprehend. If you hear a low hum, a faint vibration, or see a flash of light, do not investigate. Hide. Observe quietly. Your life depends on invisibility, on caution, on discipline. If you are with others, coordinate silently, without sound. Share only what is essential. Panic is contagious. Fear is fatal. The emergency networks are breaking down completely. I have lost access to some reports I was relying on a few minutes ago. Messages are now inconsistent. Some cut off mid-sentence. The world beyond my studio is fragmenting into confusion, into chaos. People are fleeing, but there is nowhere to run. Vehicles are abandoned, streets clogged, movement restricted. Those attempting to flee report seeing the ships follow, hovering, observing, disappearing, and reappearing farther down the road. Escape is uncertain, risky, dangerous. Only caution and patience remain reliable. Some of you may be asking what these ships want. I do not know. Some reports suggest scanning. Some suggest collection. The truth is incomprehensible at this time. The only certainty is that they are aware of us, of every movement, of every exposure, of every sound. If you are alive, you are being observed. I have received reports of people trying to signal to each other. Flashlights, improvised signs, notes left in buildings. Some are moving silently from building to building, sharing resources, sharing knowledge, sharing hope. If you can do so safely, communication is invaluable. Survival is strengthened by awareness and coordination. But be extremely careful. Any sign of movement, any unplanned light, could draw attention. If you are alone, use extreme caution. Do not open doors to strangers. Do not make noise. Every decision now carries consequences. Use windows and observation points only if you are fully hidden. Avoid leaving tracks. Avoid leaving traces. Everything you leave behind can be noticed. The world has shifted. There is no longer a margin for error. I want to remind you that even in the fear, even in the chaos, persistence matters. I am here. You are listening. Somewhere else, someone else is observing, hiding, surviving. The human instinct to endure, to adapt, is our lifeline. Even when surrounded by forces beyond understanding, even when the world collapses around you, survival is a choice you make with each breath, each careful movement, each decision to stay hidden and alive. Keep your supplies ready. Keep your surroundings quiet. Keep an eye on the sky. Learn their behavior if you can. Do not assume they are predictable, but notice patterns, timing, repetition. Use that to your advantage. Avoid unnecessary movement. Every moment you are cautious is a moment you live. I am still broadcasting because it matters. I am still alive because it matters. And if you are hearing me, your survival matters. This is the only frequency that is consistently operational. Listen, absorb, remember. Use this information to stay alive, to avoid attention, to persist. Do not be tempted to record or take footage. Do not try to communicate openly. Do not trust any unverified source. Only what you can observe safely, only what you can act on safely, is useful. Survival is the priority. Everything else is secondary. We are living through an event the likes of which humanity has never experienced. The first night is underway, and already the world feels alien. Streets are silent except for the occasional distant scream or siren. Vehicles are abandoned. Buildings flicker with lights as residents attempt to hide or signal. The sky is filled with ships, moving in formations, silent, deliberate, aware. And we are beneath them, observed, fragile, human. I want to close this part of the broadcast with one repeated plea. Stay hidden. Stay quiet. Avoid light and movement. Observe, but do not engage. Hold your supplies close. Hold your loved ones close if you can, silently. Hold your patience and your awareness closer still. The air feels heavier now. There's a vibration in everything. The desk, the floor, even the air itself feels charged. Something is happening outside. The ships have moved lower. From where I'm sitting, I can see one hanging over the city like a storm cloud. It's vast. Its edges blur into the night as if light refuses to touch it. Every few moments, the surface ripples, almost like water. People are still out there looking up. Some are shouting, some running, most just frozen. I keep saying it, but I'll say it again. Movement attracts them. Noise attracts them. Messages are still coming through for now. Someone reported a wave of force rolling through his neighborhood. No explosion, no light, just pressure that knocked everyone to the ground. Windows shattered. The ones caught outside didn't get up again. No injuries, just gone. These aren't attacks the way we understand them. They are tests. Measurements. They are learning. If you are in an open area, move now. Go somewhere enclosed, somewhere layered. Concrete, metal, anything dense. Avoid large windows. Avoid open streets. Find basements, underground levels, parking structures. Don't wait for confirmation. Every second you hesitate is one less you have. Half the city's dark. The rest flickers with a greenish light that doesn't belong to us. It's hard to tell where it comes from. Some say it's a weapon. Others say it's just part of them, the way they move through the air. I can't tell anymore. The horizon glows in places that shouldn't glow. If you are near power sources, shut them off. Generators, lights, heaters. They are drawn to energy the way sharks follow blood. Keep one low source for this frequency if you can. The moment you hear that hum getting close, kill it. Sit still. Wait it out. Someone told me before the line died that the ships are pulling energy straight from the grid. That might be why we're losing power. Every city that goes dark is one less signal I can hear. It's like the world is being erased, section by section. There was a flash just now to the west. No sound followed. The skyline there is gone. It didn't burn or explode. It folded inward and vanished behind a wall of light. If you're anywhere near that area, get underground and stay there. They're scanning everything above ground. The pattern of their movement is methodical. They sweep, they pause, they shift, they repeat. Learn that rhythm. Move only between sweeps. People keep asking why they're here. I don't know. The behavior isn't conquest, it's procedure. They're not angry. They're not even curious. It's as if the world is a file they're processing, line by line. If they are one mind split into many bodies, then communication isn't needed. That might explain how they move without signals, without sound. You can't intercept thought. You can't fight something that doesn't speak. You can only survive it. Survival right now is a quiet act. Stay small, stay dark, stay still. Eat little, move little. Make yourself forgettable. We used to measure life by noise, by talking, working, building. Now we measure it by how silent we can be. Outside, the glow has spread to the edges of the city. The clouds reflect it. The colors are wrong. Pale blue mixed with violet, like veins in the sky. The air tastes metallic. The ground shakes at irregular intervals. Every pulse leaves the city quieter. If you can see stars, you're lucky. That means there's still a piece of the sky untouched. Keep your focus on that. Anything constant is proof that the world hasn't fully changed. Power here is unstable. The generator is running low, but I'll keep it going as long as possible. This signal matters. If you're hearing me, that means the human voice still exists somewhere on this planet. That's reason enough to keep talking. You might think none of this matters, that one voice won't change anything. Maybe you're right. But silence is surrender. As long as someone is speaking, someone is alive. Remember the rules. Stay low. Stay quiet. Move only when the hum fades. Cut power when they're near. Watch the sky, but don't stare. If you see the light spread, don't look at it. Close your eyes. Cover your face. Wait until it passes. Everything else, fear, anger, grief, you deal with later. The city is unrecognizable now. The horizon used to have color, shape, life. But everything beyond the window is a blur of motionless smoke and faint light. The power grid has been drained completely. Every few minutes, the sky flickers with faint static, as if the air itself is carrying electricity. The ships have stopped moving for now. They hover in silence, perfectly still, almost like they're waiting for something. I think they're listening. The smaller ones, the scouts, are drifting between buildings, scanning through walls. You can see the light trace along the concrete, outlining the rooms before fading. The beams don't destroy anything, not this time. They pass through like mist, reading, recording. People who stayed hidden and quiet are fine. The ones who ran or screamed didn't make it. Their movement gave them away. If you're hearing this, you survived the first night. That means you can survive again. Stay exactly where you are until dawn. Movement in darkness is death. When daylight comes, it confuses them. The ships pull higher into the atmosphere. That's when you move. That's when you find others. That's when you gather what you can and relocate before night returns. If you have a map, mark the quiet zones. Mark where you last saw them. If you see fields, forests, rivers untouched, note them. Those are your routes. Stay near cover, but keep away from large metal structures. They use those as anchors. One listener described the inside of a safe zone to me before the transmission cut out. He said a few soldiers had regrouped under an old subway terminal. They had working radios, rifles, and solar lamps. He said they were trying to organize a countermeasure, but every signal they sent bounced back, distorted, like the air itself was rejecting human communication. He said even Morse code came back scrambled. Maybe they're jamming everything. Maybe they're rewriting the frequencies. The government signal stopped completely about 3 hours ago. No orders, no instructions, no leadership. The chain of command is gone. Now it's just pockets of survivors trying to make sense of this. Don't wait for rescue. Don't wait for instruction. The system you knew is gone. You are your own authority now. Decide carefully. Every action must be intentional. If you're with others, choose one person to lead decisions. Groups that argue make noise. Noise is death. Discipline is survival. Someone tried to fight back. I just picked up a faint broadcast from what used to be the Eastern District. Heavy gunfire, followed by silence. They said they hit one of the smaller ships with rockets. It fell, but it didn't break. It just sank into the ground and vanished. Minutes later, the entire area was flattened by a single pulse of light. There's nothing left there now. The ones who fight openly are erased. These aren't battles. They're cleanups. The pattern is becoming clear. They descend, they drain, they analyze, then they move on. They are not interested in land or resources. They are dismantling the idea of civilization itself. They're unbuilding us. If you still have power, store it. Unplug everything else. Charge your radios, your lights, anything portable. Use power sparingly. The nights are colder now, unnaturally cold. The air pressure changes with each wave that passes. You can feel it in your bones. Don't rely on the temperature staying stable. If you're near water, ration it. Rain is no longer safe. People reported strange residue after storms. Thin, oily film on the surface that glows faintly at night. Don't drink it. Boil if you must. If you can filter, filter twice. Keep your fire small, enclosed, invisible. The ships are still there. They see heat. They see motion. They see patterns. What they don't see is patience. Patience hides you. Waiting hides you. Silence hides you. Some of you are wondering how long this will last. I don't know. The attacks slowed, but the silence feels worse. It's the silence of something that's thinking. The ships above aren't random. They're repositioning. They're forming a ring over the city, maybe over the entire region. It's like they're building a perimeter. I think they're isolating us before moving to the next phase. I don't know what that phase is. Maybe extraction, maybe observation, maybe nothing we can imagine. I've started seeing strange lights on the ground, thin lines that trace across streets and fields. They glow faintly blue. They don't burn or damage, but anything that crosses them stops working. Radios, flashlights, watches, even heart monitors. It's like the energy dies. Stay away from those lines. They're traps, barriers, maybe borders. You touch them, you lose everything. The silence outside is heavy now. No birds, no engines, not even wind. Just stillness. Sometimes. That stillness feels like the world itself is holding its breath. The only movement left is in the sky. Sometimes I wonder if we were the noise, and now the world is quiet again. If you can still hear me, that means something human remains. That means something survived. Keep holding on to that thought. Don't let despair speak louder than caution. This is not the end. It's the middle of something we don't understand yet. The moment you accept fear as normal, you stop being afraid of it. And when fear loses power, you think clearly. That's when you survive. Keep your radios on low. Conserve your energy. Move only with purpose. Mark your routes. Learn the patterns. Wait for daylight. You're still listening to the last signal radio. The perimeter they formed last night hasn't lifted. The ships are stationary above the horizon, forming a ring that glows faintly through the clouds. The air beneath them feels heavy, as if gravity has thickened. Nothing flies anymore. No birds, no planes, not even drones. It's as if the sky itself refuses to let anything human rise. The few generators still working in the city are starting to fail. The fuel is thinning, and the energy they drain makes engines stall faster than before. I can't tell if it's deliberate or just a side effect of whatever they're doing. The streets below me are filled with vehicles left in place. Their metal frames hum faintly, like they're holding a charge. Every so often, one catches fire without reason. People have stopped trying to move them. They just step around the wrecks and continue in silence. There are more survivors than I expected. I can see them sometimes from the roof. They move carefully, in groups of 2 or 3, always hugging the walls, always avoiding light. They're learning. Humanity always learns, even at the edge of collapse. They don't talk anymore, not loudly anyway. They use gestures, flashes of mirrors, or reflections in glass to communicate. Some have made marks on the walls, simple symbols, arrows, safe directions. Civilization breaking apart, yet language is being rebuilt from nothing in a single night. That's what keeps me talking. Not hope, not duty, just the understanding that as long as we adapt, we're not done. There were reports of a coordinated counterattack last night, somewhere north near the industrial zone. A few remaining armored units tried to move out when daylight came. The ships rose higher during the morning as they usually do, so they thought they had an opening. They fired everything they had, rockets, cannons, missiles. They say one of the smaller ships fell, the first confirmed. It hit the ground near the rail lines and didn't vanish this time. The soldiers tried to approach it, but whatever it was made of started to dissolve on contact, like fog turning back into air. No wreckage, no technology, no evidence. Just a crater and silence. Then the main ships came down again. There's nothing left north of the river. If you are near that area, don't go there. Radiation may be worse. The reports mentioned light distortion, headaches, and memory lapses. Stay far away from anything that looks like residue or fog near the ground. Don't touch anything metallic that wasn't yours before this began. I can't explain why, but it feels wrong. The material reacts to heat and electricity. Someone burned their hand just by touching a doorknob. These ships are altering more than the sky. They're changing the matter around us. This place doesn't behave the way it used to. Compasses don't work. GPS is gone. Even stars look misplaced. Either the atmosphere has shifted or they're bending what we see. I tried aligning the constellations to a map and nothing matches. If they can bend light, they can bend reality. That's a thought I wish I hadn't had. Still, people are moving underground now. Subways, tunnels, sewers. Not ideal, but safer. The air is stale, but it's quiet. The ships don't go below the surface, at least not yet. Maybe they can't. Maybe they don't care. Either way, the underground is survival. If you can reach it safely, go there. Bring water, food, and light. Stay close to concrete. Use fabric to block noise from footsteps. Some survivors reported hearing faint noises through the walls, mechanical but distant, like echoes of the ships above. Don't respond to them. If something mechanical calls to you, stay silent. They use sound to locate. Some think they mimic voices, but that might just be fear playing tricks. I don't know anymore which fears are real and which are useful. People used to think of fear as weakness, but right now, it's intelligence. Fear is your body understanding danger before your mind does. Trust it. There's talk among the groups hiding underground that the ships might be leaving. The hum is softer today. The light pulses are slower. Maybe they've done what they came for. Maybe they're waiting for something else. Whatever the reason, the attacks have stopped. I don't know if that's mercy or preparation. When predators stop moving, it usually means they're watching. The world outside is quiet in a way I've never known. No wind, no sound, just faint electrical crackling. Even the fires burn silently now, as if the air itself has been tamed. People are starting to emerge cautiously during the day. They look like shadows walking through dust. The sunlight is strange, dim but sharp, as if filtered through glass. I saw children for the first time in days, walking beside what might have been their parents. No one spoke. They just walked east. Maybe someone said that direction was safe. Maybe no one did. Hope doesn't need proof. It just needs motion. I don't know how long I can keep this transmitter running. Power is weak, and my supplies are almost gone. But I'll keep it on as long as the airwaves exist. Not because anyone ordered me to, because silence is the last thing they want from us. If you hear this, mark it down. Humanity spoke even when there was nothing left to say. The ships haven't moved, not exactly. They've shifted higher, forming patterns now, slow geometric alignments that flicker in and out of the clouds. The lights pulse like veins across the sky, running currents from one horizon to the other. It feels organized. Too organized. Someone counted. There are exactly 47 visible ships tonight. There were 48 yesterday. One gone. No sound, no explosion, just absence. The missing one leaves a hole in the formation, and through that hole, the stars look clearer, almost brighter, as if the atmosphere heals wherever they leave. Maybe that's how we'll win, not with weapons, but with patience. Let them go one by one until the sky belongs to us again. But patience doesn't come easy to the desperate. I heard movement earlier from the south side of the city, an old military convoy, or what's left of it. A few transport trucks, headlights dimmed, carrying survivors instead of soldiers. They didn't stop. They didn't signal. They just drove through like ghosts. That's what humanity looks like now. A series of moving silhouettes, quiet and exhausted. Too tired to be afraid, but not ready to die. I wonder if they still believe anyone's listening to this voice on the radio. Maybe I'm just speaking to the wind. But the wind has memory, doesn't it? It carries what we say, even when no one's left to hear it. Someone left a note outside the building last night, pinned to the main door with a piece of wire. It said, "Keep talking. We're hearing you underground, no name, no location, just those words." I don't know who left it, but it means the transmission is still reaching somewhere. Maybe that's all that matters now. This fragile thread of sound binding scattered lives together. If you're out there, if you hear this, know that someone else is too. You are not the last voice on Earth. There's another report from the outskirts, something strange. The ships seem to be pulling matter from the ground, whole sections of soil and debris rising upward like dust caught in reverse gravity. A survivor near the agricultural zone said the fields were turning to glass. The grass, the trees, even the insects, solidified in place, then dissolved into light. They're not just taking life, they're erasing it. Some scientists used to call that sterilization in theoretical discussions of alien contact. Erase potential biological threats before occupying a planet. But it doesn't feel like occupation anymore. It feels like extraction. Like they came for something, and now they're done taking it. The oceans are quieter, too. I can see the coastline from the tower when the fog lifts. The tides don't move right anymore. The water reflects the sky like mercury, thick and unnatural. Maybe that's what they wanted. Maybe Earth had something in its core, something invisible, that they came to harvest. I can't decide if that thought comforts me or terrifies me. Comfort, because it means we were never the target. Terror, because it means they'll do this again somewhere else. I can hear distant rumbles from the direction of the mountains. It's not thunder. It's not explosions. It's the Earth itself, adjusting, like it's exhaling after being held too tight. A few tremors passed through here earlier, enough to shake loose dust from the ceiling. Maybe the planet is reacting to whatever they did. Maybe it's angry. I'd like to think Earth has some defense of its own, some deep mechanism that rejects what's foreign. The old myths said the world was alive, didn't they? Maybe that wasn't poetry. Maybe it was memory. The people left in the city have started building fires again, even though it risks being seen. The warmth is worth the danger now. I saw them from the rooftop last night. Tiny clusters of orange light flickering between the ruins. Every small fire looked like a heartbeat. They gather quietly, share what they have, and move before dawn. A few of them pass messages written on pieces of metal or glass. Paper burns too easily these days. They've started to call themselves the Ground. I like that. It sounds strong. I keep repeating that name into the mic sometimes, hoping it reaches them. Maybe they'll know they're not alone. Maybe they'll hear their name carried through the static and understand someone remembers. I tried to trace a signal from another radio earlier. There was a faint transmission buried deep in the noise, possibly automated. I couldn't make out the language. It wasn't alien, but it wasn't anything structured either. Just fragments. Words repeating. Light, return, silent. It looped 3 times and stopped. Could be an error. Could be a survivor trying to jam through. The signal originated westward, near what used to be a major broadcast center. I can't reach that far, but maybe someone closer can. If you're near the western sectors, listen around 11.25 megahertz. There's something there. The more I talk, the more I realize how fragile sound feels now. Every word I speak feels like it could vanish mid-air if I stop believing it exists. But I have to keep believing, because silence is worse. Silence means surrender. And that's the one thing we still control. We can still make noise. We can still be heard, even if no one answers. I don't know what day it is anymore. Time doesn't pass the same when the sky glows all night. There's no real sunrise, just shifts in brightness, as if the world forgot how to rest. Maybe this is what forever looks like. Half darkness, half light, no peace in either. I used to think apocalypse would come fast, a moment of destruction, and then nothing. But this is slower. It's endurance, a long unraveling, and somehow that makes survival harder. The ships are moving again, faintly, not retreating, but drifting higher toward the upper atmosphere. There's a deep vibration in the air, steady, rhythmic. The lights along their edges are flickering faster now, pulsing in sequence. It feels like communication, but not directed at us. They're speaking to each other. Maybe this is their final act, their departure. Maybe the world below no longer interests them. I don't know whether to be relieved or heartbroken. They're leaving a graveyard behind. If they go, we'll be left to rebuild. I don't know how or who will start. Maybe the people underground will emerge first. Maybe they'll find this transmitter, still running on fumes, my voice trapped in a loop, and they'll hear these words and know we were alive once, that we spoke until the end. The sky is clearing, but not the way it used to. The blue is pale, faded, almost translucent, like the color has been drained out of the atmosphere itself. The clouds move slower now, heavy with strange reflections, as if the sun struggles to reach through whatever residue they left behind. The air feels lighter, thinner, every breath scraping the throat with the taste of metal and ash. The ships have drifted higher, some vanishing completely, others faintly visible like dim stars that refuse to fade. They're quiet. The world is quiet. No thunder, no hums, no engines, no birds, just a silence so thick it feels like a sound of its own. I walked outside earlier for the first time in 2 days. The city feels hollow, stripped of its heartbeat. The streets are warped, asphalt cracked open like old wounds. Cars sit where they were abandoned, some melted into shapes that no longer make sense. The signs on the buildings are burned, letters fused into the walls. Windows are shattered in every direction, but there's no glass on the ground, like it evaporated instead of breaking. Everything glints faintly, as though coated in some kind of dust that isn't dust. The air smells of rust, ozone, and rain that never comes. There are survivors, more than I thought. They move in pairs, sometimes in groups of 3 or 4. No one shouts anymore. No one calls out for help. They just look at each other in silence, eyes sunken, bodies wrapped in cloth and ash. They communicate through gestures, small motions of the hands, barely visible nods. They've learned that quiet is safety. The instinct to speak has become dangerous. I passed a man earlier who was writing something on the wall with a piece of charred metal. 3 vertical lines crossed by 1 horizontal. I don't know what it means, but I've seen it before, scratched on doors, rocks, and car hoods. Maybe it means safe. Maybe it means food. Maybe it means nothing. Humans always create symbols when words stop working. The light itself feels wrong. It's brighter, sharper, but colder. Shadows are too long, stretching in ways that don't match the sun's position. I don't think it's the sun, not really. It's like the light is reflecting off something we can't see, something still in the sky. When it rains, and it does sometimes, the drops come down slow, thicker than before. They leave residue when they dry, thin gray rings that stain everything. People collect the water carefully now. It's drinkable if filtered, but only barely. The taste stays metallic. Everything tastes metallic. I've started to hear faint radio signals again. Weak, distorted, barely human, but they're there. Most of them are automated, loops of static punctuated by single words. Safe, north, light, stay. It's unclear if anyone's on the other end, or if these are just old transmissions replaying endlessly. But the fact that something is still on air, that electricity still exists somewhere, means the world isn't done yet. There's still movement, still life in the circuits. The people underground are starting to emerge more often. They move cautiously through the ruins, scavenging food, tools, metal scraps, anything that can burn. They use broken glass to reflect light into tunnels, mirrors to signal from one street to another. They've started forming small camps. Nothing permanent, just safe zones for a few hours. One of them left a note near the tower door again. It said, "The sky is quieter. Keep talking." That was all. No signature, no location, just those words, written in shaky black ink. I keep reading it over and over. It feels like a command, like a reason to keep breathing. The ocean looks wrong, too. I can see it faintly from here, when the wind clears the dust. The waves are sluggish like they're thicker. The color isn't blue anymore, but gray with hints of silver. Some say the aliens took something from the water. Some think it's not even water anymore, just the residue of whatever they did. It doesn't reflect the sky the way it used to. It absorbs it like a black mirror. No fish, no movement, just stillness. The world feels emptied of everything except memory. Yet, people are adapting. I saw a group near the riverbed building, small fires out of furniture wood and old tires. They didn't speak, but they worked together, sharing fragments of food, wrapping each other in blankets when the air got cold. That's what survival looks like now. Quiet cooperation, shared silence. Humanity reduced to its core, stripped of arrogance, Zhengyang, technology, noise. What remains is the will to keep existing, to stay alive long enough to see the next sunrise, even if it looks different from the last. I've been thinking about the aliens, what they wanted, why they came, why they left. Maybe it wasn't war. Maybe it was harvest. Maybe they came for something this planet had, something deep in the soil, or the air, or even in us. Maybe they took what they needed and left, and now we're living in the residue of their need. Or maybe they didn't take anything at all. Maybe they just came to look, to measure, to learn. And what they learned disappointed them. I keep replaying that thought in my head. What if humanity was tested and found unnecessary? What if this was their way of moving on? Still, the world hasn't stopped breathing. The Earth itself feels restless. There were tremors this morning, faint but steady, as if the ground was stretching after a long sleep. Maybe the planet is healing itself. Maybe it's purging what they left behind. The air hums sometimes, low, constant, just below hearing range. It's hard to tell if it's natural or if it's something deeper, an echo of the ships fading away. I'm keeping this broadcast alive because sound is all we have left. If you can hear this, even faintly, it means the air still carries human words. That's all this is now. Proof of existence. Proof that someone survived, someone spoke, someone refused to go quiet. If I stop talking, the silence wins. So I'll keep speaking, even if no one answers. To whoever's listening out there in the rubble, in the tunnels, in the empty houses, keep moving. Don't stay in one place too long. Don't follow the lights if they return. Don't trust the sky yet, but trust the earth. Trust the sound of your own breath. It means you're still part of this planet. It means it hasn't forgotten you. The ships are gone from sight now. It's been hours, maybe days, since I last saw their faint glow in the clouds. The horizon looks empty, but not peaceful. It's like the sky itself doesn't know what to do without them. The clouds hang still, motionless, as if waiting for a command. Sometimes I think I hear something, an echo, a faint hum. But it could be memory. The mind records sounds even after they've vanished. That's how trauma works, I suppose. It doesn't need presence to survive, only memory. The survivors are beginning to come out of hiding in greater numbers. From the roof, I can see groups forming where there used to be streets, fires burning in neat circles. They're rebuilding small things, shelters, cooking stations, crude water collectors made from sheet metal. The city that was once full of noise is learning how to whisper again. People barter instead of steal. They share instead of fight. Necessity reshapes morality. I saw a child yesterday, first I've seen in a long time, carrying a plastic bag filled with photographs. Maybe they're all that's left of their family. Maybe they just liked the faces. There's still fear, the kind that clings to the air. No one trusts the quiet fully yet. Every flash in the clouds makes them freeze. Every sound of metal settling makes them look up. It's strange how quickly the mind redefines normal. Just a week ago, silence meant peace. Now it means uncertainty. The sky no longer belongs to us. We just live beneath it. There are reports from the northern edge of the city, a strange field of light near the old industrial district. Survivors say the ground there hums at night. It's not electricity, there's no power grid left, but a vibration deep in the soil. Someone dropped a metal tool on it, and it floated for a second before falling. Whatever the ships did before they left, it changed something fundamental. The planet feels unstable, like it's adjusting. Maybe this is recovery, maybe it's collapse. I can't tell the difference anymore. One of the last engineers alive came through the area 2 nights ago. He was carrying what looked like a makeshift receiver built out of spare parts. Said he'd been tracking a signal on a low frequency, one too steady to be natural. It's still transmitting somewhere out there. It doesn't carry words, only a constant pulse, repeating every 9 seconds. Some think it's the ships communicating with each other as they leave orbit. Others think it's Earth's own systems reawakening, military satellites trying to sync with ground stations. The engineer didn't stay long. He said the signal's direction changes every day, moving westward. Whatever it is, it's not random. I think about the concept of endings a lot now. How stories used to have them. Clear, finite, good and evil, victory and loss. But this doesn't feel like an ending. It feels like something between, a pause, not a conclusion. Maybe we're living in the space between stories, the part no one ever writes about. The silence after the disaster, before the rebuilding. The uncomfortable quiet, where no one knows what comes next. That's what the world feels like now. A long breath held in hesitation. People have started burying their dead again. That's how you know civilization still exists. The act of respect, of giving the lost a place to rest. Graves are shallow, marked with stones or scraps of metal. But they're graves. They mean we still believe in something after survival. I passed one on my way here. Someone had written words on a wall beside it. They left, and we remained. Simple, but true. The temperatures dropped. Nights are colder, sharper. The atmosphere must have changed. Some say it's because the ships disrupted the upper layers of air, releasing gases or blocking sunlight. Others say it's the Earth resetting itself. Either way, people are burning anything that will light. Furniture, clothes, books. The irony is heavy. Humanity built knowledge for centuries, and now it keeps us warm as smoke. If you can hear this, keep notes. Keep records. Write on walls, carve into metal, anything that lasts. Memory is the only resource we can't afford to lose. Because if no one remembers what happened, the world will forget why it changed. And if the world forgets, it will happen again. The ocean is restless tonight. I can hear it from here. Distant, but constant. The waves crash harder, slower, like they're heavier. Something about the tide feels wrong. It's higher, creeping inland. Maybe it's because of the shifts caused by the ship's departure. Maybe the magnetic balance of the planet has changed. The world feels heavier, denser. Movement itself takes effort. Even light feels slower. Still, life moves. It always does. I've seen plants growing through cracks in the road, pale green stems bending toward the weak sunlight. Birds haven't returned, but I saw one shadow in the distance, gliding low. Could have been debris, could have been something alive. Either way, it means the cycle hasn't ended. Nature adapts faster than we do. Maybe it'll forgive us. Maybe it won't. I keep this broadcast alive for the same reason people build fires. It's not for warmth. It's to remind the dark that we exist. As long as this signal runs, humanity has a pulse. If I stop talking, the silence wins. If I keep speaking, someone might remember how to hope. The nights have grown longer. Maybe the planet's rotation has slowed, or maybe it's just perception, but darkness lasts hours longer than it used to. The stars are sharper, crueler. The constellations are wrong, slightly tilted, misplaced, as if someone rearranged them by hand. The northern lights appear sometimes, even this far south, green and white ribbons flickering over the ruins. They shouldn't be here. The world's compass is broken, and we're learning to live without direction. I went down to street level today. The air felt colder, thinner. The smell of metal is gone now, replaced by damp dust and the faint scent of something organic, like the earth trying to breathe again. The fires from the survivors still burn in the distance, fewer now, but steadier. They've built barriers from car frames, walls from broken concrete. It's not much, but it's something that stands. That's what matters. Something that stands. The survivors have started building routines again. They wake with the dim light, scavenge during the gray hours, rest at night in clusters. I saw a group teaching others how to purify water using filters made from cloth, charcoal, and gravel. They're learning quickly. Humans always learn. A few are trying to build windmills, crude ones made of scrap metal, to power small bulbs or radios. You can see the blades turning slowly when the wind comes in from the sea. The light they make is faint, barely enough to see, but at night it glows like hope. The northern field of light is spreading. It's visible even from here now, a soft, pulsating glow that crawls across the horizon like a bruise under the skin of the earth. The survivors call it the veil. It doesn't burn, doesn't move fast, just expands silently each night, covering more ground. Some think it's radiation. Some think it's something alive. No one's gone close enough to know. They say animals avoid it. Even the wind changes direction near it. Maybe it's where the ships left their mark, an open wound in the soil. If you're near the veil, move south. Keep distance. Whatever it is, it doesn't belong to us. There's talk of a settlement forming on the coast, people gathering near the water, building huts from shipping containers and driftwood. They fish what little life the sea still offers. Some of the catches are strange, transparent creatures, half-formed, pulsing faintly even after death. The survivors eat them anyway. Hunger makes rules meaningless. They call their camp Shoreline. Someone said they've set up a beacon using parts of an old radio tower. I tried to reach them earlier, but the static was too thick. I'll keep trying. If anyone from Shoreline can hear this, reply on frequency 9.65 megahertz. The signal's weak, but this transmitter's still breathing. A few of the older survivors talk about the world before all this in fragments. Music, screens, crowded streets, the sound of planes overhead. I try to imagine it, but it feels unreal. Too loud, too fast. The world we live in now is quiet enough to hear your heartbeat echo off walls. There's something sacred about that, in a twisted way. Destruction gave us silence, and silence made us aware. Maybe that's what we were supposed to learn. Still, fear lingers like fog. People look at the sky with suspicion. Every streak of light, every meteor, every flicker in the clouds feels like a return. A few have started to build underground again, unwilling to trust the peace. I can't blame them. You can't forget that kind of terror. It stains the nerves. It shapes thought. I've been collecting small fragments from the streets, things that survived. A photo album, a cracked wristwatch still ticking, a toy car, a shard of mirror, artifacts of what we were. They sit beside the transmitter, a small museum of memory. Sometimes when I speak into the mic, I imagine I'm talking to them instead of people, because at least they don't vanish. There's something strange happening with the static tonight. Between the white noise, I can hear faint harmonics, low tones rising and falling in perfect intervals. It's not feedback. It's too precise. Could be natural resonance from the ionosphere, or maybe the ships left behind frequencies still echoing through the atmosphere. It sounds almost like a song. Maybe it's what the world sounds like when it heals. People are talking about heading inland. They think the further you go from the coast, the cleaner the air gets, the safer it feels. There's rumor of a valley where green still grows, untouched by whatever the ships did. No one knows if it's real, but the rumor itself is enough. Hope doesn't need to be true. It just needs to exist. The sky turned red a few seconds earlier. No noise, no storm, just a deep red glow that bled across the clouds and vanished. It left everyone staring upward in silence. Maybe it was something burning up in orbit, or maybe it was the last of them leaving. I want to believe it was goodbye. Not peace, not mercy, just acknowledgement, a final look at the world they changed. I think about what comes next. Not for me, but for us. We've lost the world we built, but maybe that wasn't the real one. Maybe this stripped-down existence, this raw, fragile state, is closer to truth. No illusions of control, no endless noise, no distractions. Just breath, hunger, will. Maybe this is what it means to start over. If you're hearing this, know that the worst has passed, even if it doesn't feel like it. The sky is clearing. The fires burn steadier. The silence is no longer a threat. It's a foundation. From it, something new will rise. I don't know what kind of world we'll make, but I know this. As long as voices still speak, humanity isn't done. The days are longer now, Or maybe it just feels that way, because the world has slowed down. The sun rises, weak, pale, like a candle struggling against a storm, and sets in a dim haze that stretches over the ruined skyline. The streets are quieter than ever, but movement is returning. Small, cautious human shapes moving in pairs or trios, scavenging what's left, marking paths, sharing food. Each person is a signal, a reminder that the world still belongs, in part, to life. The veil to the north continues to spread. Its edges shimmer faintly, pulsing in soft green and silver hues, creeping over fields, forests, and abandoned towns. The survivors avoid it entirely. They whisper its name with fear. Some call it the scar. Some call it the echo of light. No one touches it. No one approaches. Trees near its edges are bent, warped, or petrified. Rocks near it are smooth and strangely warm, like energy flows beneath them. The veil isn't alive in a way we understand, but it pulses with purpose. It's a warning, or a boundary, or maybe both. Keep away from it. Do not underestimate its reach. I've visited parts of the city that were thought to be completely destroyed. Buildings stand like hollowed-out shells, walls scorched, windows melted, ceilings collapsed in strange, impossible angles. The streets are littered with shards of glass, metal, and remnants of lives. Toys, papers, photographs, shoes, all of them frozen mid-story. People sift through it quietly, salvaging what's usable, carrying what's precious. Each act of recovery is a defiance, a statement that we endure. The water sources are still unreliable. Rivers have shifted course slightly, and pools of standing water shimmer with strange colors at night. Boil, filter, ration. That's all I can say. Even the ocean appears heavier now, as if it's holding something that shouldn't be there. Fish are fewer, some grotesque in form, transparent or partially crystallized. Survival is improvisation now. Humans adapt, and we must. Survivors are organizing slowly. A few are trying to establish communication with other pockets. They use mirrors, radio relays, and written symbols. It's patchwork, fragile, but it works. People are beginning to understand routes, safe zones, and the rules of the new world. Stay quiet, stay low, avoid unnecessary movement. Small communities emerge, bounded by trust, necessity, and the instinct to live. The night air is colder, and the wind carries whispers of movement from the mountains and forests. No one goes alone anymore. Even the brave stick close to others, forming lines, chains, circles. Trust is a survival tool now, just as much as food or water. When someone disappears, the silence that follows is almost unbearable, a hollow note that vibrates through the survivors' minds. I've started keeping a list of locations, safe houses, caches of supplies, areas of danger. The city is a map of memory now. Each block a story of survival or loss. I leave notes wherever I can, so anyone passing through can know what's safe. Sometimes I wonder if anyone ever finds them. Sometimes I hope they do. The horizon glows faintly again, but it's not the ships. Something smaller, organic perhaps, moves in the distance. Shadows flicker across the ruins. Survivors report seeing them too, creatures that weren't here before. They avoid them, as do I. No need to engage. Observation is safer than confrontation. The world has enough threats already. The air hums faintly, a residual echo of the alien presence, a low, constant vibration in the bones. It doesn't harm, but it reminds you that what happened is not over, not entirely. It lingers in the fabric of the world. Some of the survivors have learned to ignore it. Some can't. Fear has become a tool, awareness, a weapon. I speak into the microphone now because it's the only proof that someone persisted. Someone existed. Someone resisted the pull of despair long enough to transmit words into the void. You, wherever you are, listening, surviving, remember, this world can heal. Slowly, painfully, yes, but it can. The land will reclaim itself. The rivers will flow clear again. The skies will grow lighter, even if they never return to what they were. And humanity will rebuild, one small act at a time. The air feels heavier these days, not with fear, but with memory. Everything that remains carries a story. Cracked walls, burned metal, the faint outlines of handprints in soot. People have stopped talking about when it will go back to normal. There is no normal. There is only what's next. I walked through the eastern quarter today, or what's left of it. The ground there hums faintly underfoot, a soft vibration that moves through concrete and bone. Maybe it's the earth adjusting to what the ships did, or maybe it's something deeper. The roads split cleanly, as if cut by light instead of force. The plants that grow through the cracks are pale and luminous at night, bending toward sound instead of sunlight. The world is reshaping itself. It's both terrifying and beautiful. I found a group of survivors near the old overpass. 6 of them, building what they call a mirror net. Panels of glass and metal arranged in angles to reflect sunlight and signal distant groups. They told me they've made contact with another cluster several miles away. It's primitive communication, but it's communication. When one mirror flashes, another responds, and the message spreads. Light carrying language across ruins. I helped them fix a few panels before leaving. When I walked away, I saw the flashes ripple outward like a heartbeat. Humanity, pulsing in light. The veil has stopped expanding. It's hard to tell why. Its edges shimmer, but it no longer moves. The survivors think it's dormant. I think it's watching. It's still, but alive in some way. An echo of their technology, maybe, or a scar that can't fade. Some people are drawn to it, mesmerized by its beauty. Others stay miles away, fearing what it might do. I advise distance. The unknown doesn't forgive curiosity anymore. The nights are quieter now, and the stars look sharper. The moon has strange markings on it, faint geometric scars visible through the haze. Maybe the ships did something up there before they left. Maybe it's just the atmosphere distorting the light. But it feels deliberate, like a message written across the sky for anyone still watching. There's talk among the survivors of moving inland, to the valley where green still grows. The rumor hasn't faded. It's become direction. People pack what little they have, food, blankets, weapons, memory, and start walking. Lines of them move through the wastelands in silence, driven by something more powerful than reason. Hope. Even if the valley doesn't exist, the act of moving toward it gives purpose. And purpose is what keeps the mind from collapsing. I've stayed behind for now. Someone has to keep the signal alive. As long as the transmitter hums, as long as a voice moves through static, the idea of connection remains. You can't kill that. I speak into the emptiness, knowing that maybe somewhere, someone hears. Maybe a lone survivor with a broken radio, sitting beside a dying fire, catches a fragment of this, and knows they're not alone. That's enough reason to keep going. Sometimes I think about what they wanted, those beings. They didn't speak, didn't demand, didn't stay. They arrived, they changed, they left. Like a storm that didn't care what it broke. The pattern wasn't conquest. It was observation. Maybe we were the experiment. Maybe we were just noise. But they didn't destroy everything. They stopped. They pulled away. They left us half alive, half ruined. Maybe that's mercy. Maybe it's calculation. Either way, it's our burden now. The survivors in the South have started calling this the reclamation. Not recovery, not rebuilding. Reclaiming. Taking back what the world offered before it was stolen. I like that word. It feels like resistance. Every act of survival is a way of reclaiming the right to exist. Every fire lit, every seed planted, every wall raised. It's a declaration. We remain. The children born now won't remember what came before. They'll grow up thinking the world has always been like this. Quiet, scarred, slow. Maybe that's not a curse. Maybe they'll build differently, learn humility faster than we did. Maybe they'll treat the sky with reverence, not arrogance. The alien war, the invasion, all of it will fade into story. And one day, someone will stand in a rebuilt city, feel the wind through their hair, and not know what came before. That's how healing works. Not instantly, not perfectly, but eventually. If you're listening, write something down. Your name, your thoughts, what you see. Leave it where others can find it. These words will become our new history. Not governments, not nations, just voices passed from one survivor to another. The story of how we continued. The hum in the air is fading now. The frequencies are clearer. The world is quieter, not because it's dying, but because it's resting. The wounds are deep, but so is our will. This is the last signal radio signing off.